Okay, this is Go Math Lesson 10.1 for Monday, April 27th. In this lesson, we will be reading picture graphs. A picture graph is a chart or table that gives information, and the information is represented by a picture. That's why it's called a picture graph. So they're pretty easy and they're kind of fun. So to start out, we're going to read this problem at the bottom that says, there are 2 green cubes and 4 blue cubes. How many more blue cubes are there than green cubes? So I wrote my information first. I know that there are 4 blue cubes, so I wrote a 4. I know that there are 2 green cubes, so I wrote a 2. Okay, you can color those in so that you can see it on your chart. The question says, or asks us to do, is to write how many more blue. So we want to see how many more blue. If you remember from our addition and subtraction packet lessons, whenever we see the question, how many more, that tells us to subtract. That always means to subtract. So if I just subtract 4 minus 2, I would get the answer of 2. So if you color in 4 blue and 2 green, you can see the green and blue are even up to here. Above this line, we see 1, 2 more. So that's how we know there are 2 more blue than green. Okay, children on the playground. So here's a picture graph that uses pictures to show information, and each little drawing of a student tells you that it stands for one child. So we can see that there are a title at the top, children at the playground, and then we can see where they are at the playground are either on the swings or the slide. So this graph gives us the information and tells us that there are 4 children on the swings because we can see 4 pictures of children on this next to the swings. And so how many children are on the slide? So we would count next to slide, there are 2. So we would know there are 2. There are more children on the, so are there more children on the swings or on the slide? Write that word here. Either write the word swings or slide. Which one has more? Remember, we learned that more means the greater number. Okay, down here we have another graph that's titled Our Favorite Activity at the Fair. And some of the activities are listed here. Activities at the fair could be seeing animals or going on rides. Each person stands for one child who chose that activity as their favorite. So we can see how many kids chose animals as their favorite activity and how many children chose rides as their favorite activity. So we're going to use this information on the picture graph to answer the questions below. So question 1 says, which activity did more children choose? I highlighted that word more. You should circle it in your book because that tells us we need to be looking for the one that has the bigger number. So were there more children who chose animals as their favorite activity or more children chose rides as their favorite activity? Circle which one. You should have circled rides because we can see there are more children on the graph that chose rides than animals. Question 2, how many children chose animals? So you go next to animals and you count how many and write that number. How many children chose rides? So count how many children are next to the rides. The next question says, how many fewer children chose animals than rides? So I highlighted the how many fewer because that's your key words there that tell you you need to be looking for how many fewer. It means subtract. Okay, so if I go and look at my graph, it already shows me how many children chose animals and how many children chose rides. I can see that if I draw a line right where they stop matching, so up to here they all match. This one means there's 2 more children that chose rides, but it says how many fewer chose animals. So I could see, oh, well, there's 1, 2 fewer chose animals than rides. So I would put 2 here. Okay. Okay, this part you're going to do on your own. You have the graph here, what we drink for lunch, and you have 3 choices. Make sure you check your choices: milk, juice, and water. Remember that each body stands for 1 child. So how many children chose milk? Count and write. How many children in all drink apple juice and water? Remember that in all means to add. So you will see how many chose apple juice plus how many chose water, and put that number here. How many fewer drink water than milk? So that means subtract. So you're going to go look at water and milk. Milk is the bigger number, so subtract how many, or you could do this like we did on the practice one and see how many fewer boxes there are filled in. Okay, write that number there. How many more children drink milk than juice? So remember, how many more means to subtract. So look at your milk and your juice. You can see they match up to here. Okay, so count how many boxes there. That will be your answer. Okay. Number 9 is our math on the spot. We don't have our video, so we'll just work on it together. How many children in all drink milk, juice, and water? So that means we're going to count all of them because it's asking about all 3. So you can just count all the bodies in the picture graph and write that number right there. Okay, number 10 says 4 new children joined the class. So all of these plus 4 more. They all drink apple juice at lunch. Now how many more children drink apple juice than water? So if the 4 new ones all chose juice, that means we need to add 4 more to juice. And I'm just going to do a quick draw, so I'm going to do 4 circles. Okay? Now, how many more children drink juice than water? So I'm only going to be looking at juice and water this time. Okay, so here's my juice now, and here's my water. So I want to look at these 2. So if I look at these 2, I can see they match up to here. And then there are 2 more who drink apple juice than water. So my answer is going to be 2 more. Okay. And on your last page, we have our favorite animal at the zoo. So we have a choice of favorite animals of zebras, lions, and seals. Each body stands for 1 child. Okay, so we're going to write a number sentence this time to help us solve the problem. So how many children chose zebras and seals all together? I highlighted the word all together. You should circle that in your book because that's the word, the key word that tells you to add. We learned when we did our addition chapter, the word all together means add. So go ahead and put a plus sign in the first circle, an equal sign in the second circle. Okay, remember when we're adding, the big number comes last. So I said zebra and seals, so that means a plus sign. So zebras are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to write 5. Seals are 1. So I'm going to put 1. And then 5 plus 1 equals. So how many children? So 5 plus 1 equals 6. So 6 children. Okay, number 12 says how many more children chose lions